Doctor Who Timelash, the sixth story of the Sixth Doctor, is written by Glenn McCoy and starring Colin Baker and Nicola Bryant. So the story gives a nod to the Doctor's past adventures back when he was travelling with Jo Grant as the third Doctor, Jon Pertwee, and retroactively addressed that they had been an adventure off-screen. The audience sees a sequel to this as of yet unseen conflicts the Doctor could conveniently and reasonably demonstrate a history and knowledge of the alien species and the planet central to the story, and the writers relied heavily on explosion about these past events to carry the story forward. Ironically, the story came out just after the two Doctors, resulting in two consecutive retrospective looks of bygone Doctor Who eras over the course of season 22. So the story begins with the Doctor looking at the map, saying he's never lost. Meanwhile, on Citadel at court, there's punishments like getting aged to death and pushed into the module. So the TARDIS arrives, Peri gets held at gunpoint, although Cads is friendly to Peri and reveals she's got a photo of Jo Grant, which is cool. Also, Vina floating in the TARDIS and ended up in 1885 Scotland with Herbert Wells. I also love the artwork of the third Doctor, Jon Pertwee. I thought it looked pretty creative. So the Doctor came by and Herbert stowed away in the TARDIS. Then obviously part 1 ends with a cliffhanger where the Doctor is about to get thrown into the Timelash.
Unpleasant journey.
Colin Baker is great as the Sixth Doctor. I honestly think he's getting better and better. I like Nicola Bryant as Peri Brown. Robert Ashby plays the Borad, who was called Megalyn, who was a scientist, took over Carfell and created the Timelash. He looks pretty scary. The makeup has done well for low budget. Apparently Megalyn is an anagram of Mengele, Joseph Mengele's surname. Dennis Carey, who previously played Professor Chronotis in Sharda and the Keeper in The Keeper of Traken, in this story plays the Old Man. Fantastic actor. Paul Darrow, who previously played Captain Hawkins in Doctor Who and the Silurians, in Timelash plays Tekka, who's Malin's and Rennis's assistant from Carfell and became the new Malin. He's great too. David Chandler plays Herbert George Wells, aka H.G. Wells. George and Bertie, who was an author in 19th and 20th century. His novels The Time Machine, The War of the Worlds, The Invisible Man and The Island of Dr. Moreau gets a reference, and I think he's a great casting. Jean Ann Crowley plays Vina, the daughter of Rennis and Tola. She's Micro's fiancée who stole the Borod's amulet from Tekka and threw herself into the Timelash. I really like her, she's canny. Eric Deacon plays Micros, who tried to persuade Rennis to help him overthrow the Borod. He's great too. Dean Hollingsworth plays an android. That sounds like this. I am an android. Not gonna lie, I like that voice. I'm having fun putting on that voice. Tracy Louise Ward plays Cads Macrath, a Carfellan rebel who has a photo of Jo Grant given by her grandfather. She's very likeable. Dave Ashton plays Kendron, a Carfellan counsellor who's great too. David Alistair, Michael Sheard and Robert Sloans were considered for the role. Peter Robert Scott plays Brunner, a counsellor. Alan Armstrong, Brian Grellis, Prentice Hancock, Tony Ozabar, Carl Rake, Leslie Schofield and Michael Sheard were considered for the role. Dickon Ashworth and Stephen McIntosh plays Cezanne and Gazek, the rebels. They're great too. The music is done by Elizabeth Parker, who had formerly contributed special sound for Blake 7. Pennant Roberts has done a good job with his direction, and so did Elizabeth Parker, who did the music. So everyone is fighting back. The Doctor jumps into the Timelash to get two Contran crystals. He's struggling to get out, so he gets help. The lightning effects looked pretty cool. Plus, when the collection of season 22 came out, the updated effects help explain a lot what they're trying to do. Peri is locked up in the cell and gets taken to a creature, which looked amazing for its time and low budget. Meanwhile, the Doctor makes the crystal into a necklace and teleports away, which is cool, then materialised and had 10-minute time break where the image the Doctor is seen but the Doctor isn't. I'd love to have a necklace like that. So the Doctor came back and explains it all, so he confronts Borad.
Not been very bright so far.
Neither have you, Doctor.
Tekka gets aged to death, which looked horrifying, where he turns into skeleton, So Borad tries to fire a laser at the Doctor, but it backfired and shot him dead. So the Doctor and Herbert rescue Perry. The Doctor speaks to Bandrel about stopping the missile, so Perry tried to tag along, but the Doctor wouldn't allow her, but Herbert hijacked and helps the Doctor, stopping the missile. Borad is alive, but he's actually a clone and held Perry hostage, either killing her or marrying her. He wouldn't show his face because he's afraid of being rejected. The Doctor reveals to Perry what his face looked like, so eventually Borad falls into the Timelash. Herbert wanted to stay, but the Doctor wouldn't let him due to timelines. I also like the fact that he found a card with his name written on. The story was described as most disliked, but also most liked at the same time, which is bizarre. What did you think of Timelash? Let me know in the comments down below. I get that many people hated this story, but positive comments would be nice. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next video.
Thank you.